Hello, friends and fans, and welcome to the show. This is episode 1, the pilot. And with that, that will be the topic of today's episode. Pilot episodes. Pilot episodes that either sold the show, pilots that buried the show, and pilots that burn just a little too slow. Pilots are hard. Pilots are hard because they need to capture the audience. Not only do they need to capture the audience, but they need to paint the picture without giving away detail. So it's got to be enough to draw the audience in and keep their attention, which can be really hard because a lot of the times with a pilot or the first chapter, it's all about introductions. And if you're introducing characters that are bland, boring, or they don't bring anything to the story, it's kind of hard to stick with the narrative as you're introducing the characters and explaining the backstories and why they are the way they are and how they got to this point to where the show starts and now you're seeing their life unfold from here. It can be really hard because a lot of the times coming up with a decent character, that's honestly the hardest part about the introduction, is coming up with the character's backstory. It's not too far-fetched, but it's also not super boring. So therefore, when I think of a pilot episode for any series, I like to go to something like X-Files. Because with the X-Files, they managed to thrust you into the story, the actual overarching story, the plot of the entire series, without giving away too much detail, while still introducing interesting enough characters and giving us their backstories and how they got to this point pretty fucking easily, pretty fucking quickly. So like in the pilot episode of the X-Files, you learn pretty quickly that the government is involved with aliens and that the two main characters, Scully and Mulder, they're kind of thrust together. Scully is a skeptic, she's a scientist, she's a doctor, she's Christian at heart. So she doesn't really believe in the supernatural and the paranormal. And then you've got the exact polar opposite, Fox Mulder, who has seen, who has witnessed, who does believe. But as the episode continues, you learn that even though Scully is a skeptic, she's not a bad person, and she doesn't judge Mulder for being a non-skeptic and being open-minded. She actually portrays in the first episode that she wants to believe. And Mulder portrays in the first episode that he's starting to lose his faith in what he believes. He's still strong about it throughout the whole series. He's still strong on what he believes in. But you see in the first episode that he's already started to shake that faith. And Scully is shaking her faith. And they're kind of meeting in the middle. That is brilliant fucking writing for a pilot episode. You've got two very interesting characters that really shouldn't be together, but they work very well together because they're polar opposites, and their backstories are even more interesting. Scully being a scientist and a doctor and a Christian at heart is because she grew up with her whole family. Her whole family was always there. She learned the values of life and love and family. Where Mulder, as a child, lost his best friend and little sister. And ever since then, his family was torn apart, his life was torn apart, but he still came out on top as one of FBI's best, not analyst, he's not an analyst, he's a profiler, one of the FBI's best profilers, and then one of their best medical, I don't want to call her a doctor, because working for the FBI, I don't really think you can be both. I don't think you can be an FBI agent and a doctor, but she has a doctorate, which means that she could be a doctor. But she didn't want that field. She wanted forensics. So yeah, she dabbles in the science because she's a forensic science officer. And Mulder is a profiler. Again, two people that really shouldn't work well together, and they do, because they're so polar opposite that they actually, it's like the whole saying, opposites attract. You know, you've got your negative, you've got your positive, and they fucking stick together. And that was my favorite fucking pilot episode, still to this day, hands down, favorite fucking pilot episode. There have been really good shows, there have been really good pilots, but X-Files nailed it. And other shows that follow the same formula, where they have at least two very interesting characters that really shouldn't work well together, working very well together. I could even name drop Grimm, because him, as a Grimm, should not be working with monsters, but yet one of his best friends is a fucking werewolf. So that's just, it works. All right, time for a music break.
Red sky over London, ash on my armor, ghost in the visor, orders in my ear, dug into the hull of a dead god, cold steel shapes in the dark, watching me breathe. Scars in the middle like burned prayers. All those lost names hiding under my sleeve. Up from the rubble of Eden, ran with the fire still trapped in my lungs. Cerberus blood on my knuckles, still hear the choir of the young. Unsung, I am the line between the stars and the fall. Commander on the edge, I can hear their call. Reapers in the dark, but I still stand tall. If I burn tonight, you don't fall at all. You don't fall at all. Walk through a graveyard of fractured moons. Fleet lights flicker like candles afloat. Liars, lovers, soldiers at my shoulder. Every dead friend stitched into this code. Voices of the past in the comms hiss, worth every wound. Don't you dare turn back. funeral pyre. Lost innocence in a silent sky. But this is where empires die. They won't take you. I'm still here. I'm still
Pilots mean the most, and they must be referenced by or before the finale. Basically, your pilot isn't just a standalone getting to know you introduction. It also needs to contain material that can be referenced later on within the series, whether it's at the end of the series, like on the final episode, or before. It needs to be referenced. Whatever events happen in the very first episode need to be referenced by or before the very last episode. That way it can go full circle. Because stories that don't go full circle can still be successful. But when you want somebody to be enveloped into the characters that you've created within the world that you've created, there needs to be some sort of a circle of life. And that's what I'm going to refer to it as. If you make a series and your pilot episode is a standalone episode, it doesn't really fit the rest of the series, and nothing in it, nothing that happens in that episode comes back to play later on, you're basically just, as an audience member, as a viewer, I see it as a slap to the face because you never really cared enough about whether or not I cared, because you're basically stating that nobody's paying attention anyway, so what's it matter? But when you read a book, the very first chapter, it's usually like a prologue, will be referenced throughout, not just one time, but throughout, because that prologue is a prologue for a reason. It is to set the tone, the narrative, and the direction. And if you stray from that, any of those three within your series, 9 times out of 10, I've seen it go south. I've seen shows just fizzle out because they've changed writers too many times. The creator quit. Like nobody even knows what the hell the show was about in the first place. Where when you reference the first episode throughout the show, you're basically telling people your attention is being rewarded. Because if you paid attention in the first episode, it means that much more when it comes back later and you're like, "Oh my fucking god, yes. That's exactly what I fucking thought when I saw it the first time." You get that level of involvement to the point where, hey, maybe replay value, the rewatch value, it goes up because maybe somebody's like, "Oh shit, I didn't catch that. I need to start the show over and see if that actually did happen, if that reference that I just heard actually did happen." And then they go back and they watch it all the way through again. That's why shows like The Office and Brooklyn Nine-Nine and shit like that have such replay value, is because they care about the audience enough that they still have detail sprinkled in throughout the series of something that you already knew because it was told to you, it was shown to you. So that's why, in my opinion, pilots mean the most, because apart from your pilot, your finale, those two episodes are the most important episodes in any series because they're the most important chapters in any book. You read the Lord of the Rings and you go from page 1 to page 600 or however fucking many pages are in it. I think my copy is like 300 and something, but still. You read the whole book, and by the time you get to the very end, when it's the assault on the Shire, you know why. Because you've been paying attention, you've been told, you've been shown, you know, Tolkien wanted you to feel that circle of life. And again, that's what I'm going to refer to it as. It is the circle of life. It needs to come back to make it relevant. Otherwise, it is just a standalone episode and it can be burned. It doesn't even need to exist. So what's the fucking point in having one? And now for a message from our sponsors. Do you like cola? Yeah. Do you like cherry cola? Yeah. Then we have the drink for you. Nostalgia. Packed full of flavor only your younger you would know. Nostalgia. The #1 drink for millennials. All right, time for a music break.
Yeah. Woke up small, the world got big. Backyard jungle, check it. Half-inch hero in the high grass, dewdrop dome on my chest plate, backpack. Ant trail run like a freeway, gotta move smart and get dragged like a leaf blade. Pebble in my palm, that's a boulder now. Juice box flood, I'ma hold it down. Climb straw stalks just to scout the zone. One wrong step, spider claim my home. Grubs in the dirt, hit a thump when they turn. Every shadow feel like something I learned. Craft what I can from the sticks and scraps. Every acorn cap like a steel hard cap. I'm a backyard micro hero. Pocket size, fear at zero. From the fence line out to the patio. Living large in the land of the radioactive glow. Backyard micro hero. Tiny frame but my heart go pharaoh. If I make it through the night then they all gon' know I'm the king of this yard when the lights run low. King of this yard when the lights run low. I'm the king of this yard when the lights run low. Weed stem ladder to the skybox. Zip line thread from the hedge to the dry rocks. Mites in a mob like a red wave. Shake 'em off quick, every swing gotta save days. Camp at the lamp where the gnats swarm. Roast one slow just to feel warm. Listen to the chirps like a war song. Every little click say you don't belong. Clover as a roof, leaf bed on the soil. Cook bug parts like a 5-star boil. Scan strange junk that we never should have found. Every broken toy is a shrine in the ground. I'm a backyard micro hero. Pockets clear, I fear at zero. From the fence line out to the patio. Living large in the land of the radioactive glow. Backyard micro hero. Tiny frame but my heart go free-roll. If I make it through the night then they all gon' know I'm the king of this yard when the lights run low. Close call, spider legs in the moon haze. Heart be loud like a drum through the grass blaze. Talk brave to the teeth, show real close. Then I breathe, then I weave, then I still don't ghost. Every scar on my arms is a roadmap. Every fall off a root is a throwback to the days I was taught, thought the world was tame. Now I know 1 yard is a whole campaign. I'm a backyard micro hero. Pocket size, fear at zero. From the fence line out to the patio. Living large in the land of the radioactive glow. Backyard micro hero. Tiny frame but my heart go pharaoh. If I make it through the night then they all gon' know I'm the king of this yard when the lights run low. This yard when the lights run low. The king of this yard when the lights run low. The king of this yard when the lights run low. The king of this yard when the lights run low.
bad or boring pilot can kill a series. So I've seen a lot of different shows in my 38 years on this planet, and I can name off a lot of shows. And this would take literally forever if I was to name drop every single show that I wanted to reference. But that being said, there have been some that just took the fucking cake. Okay? And I'm going to name drop the Game of Thrones on this one because it's one of the biggest problems I have with any kind of a show. I get you want the longevity and you want the time, you want it to draw out because you think as you're writing it that this is great, you know. I've created these characters, I've created this world, I've created this whole arc, okay? But the very first episode, now I've never read any of the books, so I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I have been told that all the way up until the last season, the show was accurate to the books, 100% detail for detail. Again, I've never read the books. I don't truly know, but I will say this much though. The It's not even just the pilot episode, but yeah, okay, well, hold on. Let me rephrase what I'm about to say here because at the very end of the first episode of Game of Thrones, that's when they hooked me. But until that point, like all the way up to that point, I felt like I couldn't get behind any of the characters. I couldn't agree with any of the characters. It was slow, it was methodically stretched thin. And that's how I'm going to say it because in my perspective, you want something to happen almost immediately. As soon as you press play on the very first episode, you want something that entails the series and will tell the story. You want something major to happen. And sure, yeah, within the first couple of minutes, you watch one of the main characters behead somebody for defecting, for abandoning post, because that's the law. That's the whole reason why Ned Stark is stationed in the north, is because he's in charge of policing the border from the crows. Because if a crow defects, it is treason. You're basically slapping the king in the face and saying, I don't have to do what you told me I have to do. I don't want to I don't want to protect the kingdom. So yeah, sure, you watch somebody get beheaded and you don't know exactly why until you further watch the series, but that's about it. The rest of the fucking episode is just talking and walking and more talking because they have a lot of characters to introduce and they are a lot of rich, vibrant characters with very interesting backstories and the what have you. But unfortunately, the way that it is told, the way that it is shown, I almost didn't get into this series just because the pilot was that fucking boring. So it's very important to keep in note of the pacing. Don't don't drag it out first thing. If you're going to give us a slow burn, give us something right at the beginning that's going to catch our attention and hook us so that we will ride out the slow burn. Now, with Game of Thrones, that did not kill the series. The last season is what killed the series. But what I'm saying is, for somebody like me who has a short attention span, yeah, that almost killed the entire series. And I almost went my whole life without ever even fucking knowing who Daenerys Targaryen was. So that says a lot. It says a lot when your pilot is that boring that there are people on this planet that have no idea who the fuck Daenerys Targaryen is. They have no idea who Ned Stark was. They have no idea who fucking Jon Snow is or what the name Snow means. Because you fucking bored the world to death in the first episode. So, that being said, I digress. I do understand that there are a lot of people that are probably going to think, hey, it was good. It hooked me immediately. Okay, that's fine if you're one of those kinds of people. I cannot go fishing. I don't have patience. I put a fucking worm on the hook. I cast my line. I either catch seaweed or the fish eat the fucking worm completely off the hook to the point where there's no evidence that I even had a worm, or they take the fucking whole ass they take the hook, the weights, the bobber, all of it, and all I have is a broken fucking string. And that's not to mention all the times I've caught trees, family members, grass. How the fuck do you catch grass with whatever? Anyway, I'm getting off topic because I'm starting to rant and rave. The point is, a bad or boring pilot can kill a series. It can. And it's very easy to do so. All right, time for a music break.
Cabin lights flicker! Just a legend, kids. You'll be fine, but the map stained red at the tree line. Fresh claw marks on the welcome sign. Whispers carry over the dead lake. Full moon hanging like a mistake. We're laughing loud just to drown the fear. Then the howling cuts through the bed. Radio static, teeth in the dark. Footsteps circling, splitting the board. We're all trying to break to flow, but the words already know. Under the blood moon, it
All right, guys, that does it for this episode. I hope you liked it. If not, I don't give a shit. This is something that I used to do when I was a kid. I love doing this. I'm probably going to do more of this because it's right up my alley. I mean, it lets me talk, which I never get to fucking talk. It allows me to share music that I've been producing and composing, and it allows me to really like vent and rant and rave about one of my absolute favorite things in the world, which is anything, everything, honestly. I mean, I can have a conversation with anybody about anything. I'm just that kind of person, and I'm very easygoing. So don't take what I say in this show to heart because it's not meant to like deprive or be derivative or to detour people. It is just me. These are just my opinions. And hopefully in the future, I can have special guests, other people to talk to, have debates, stuff like that, you know. But with that being said, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one. Toodles.